So we're talking about industrial cybersecurity. My name is Gail Lau, and joining me today is Patrick Miller, CEO of Ampere. So today we're talking about network segmentation. Why do we need to focus on network segmentation now?
Right.
It's kind of a hot topic.
It's a hot topic. It's in many things. It's in executive orders, it's in standards, it's in regulations, it's in the National Security Memo. Network segmentation is basically just taking your really, really important critical things that could cause like loss of life or go boom or other things like that, and you're putting them in a special network that only very explicit or no rules are allowed for traffic to go through so that they can live in their world and they cannot be touched by other things in their little network space. What you don't want is your critical equipment showing up on some search engine somewhere where someone can easily log into it and they can take control over your environment or do bad things. That is, the big fear. And it's actually happening. I mean, it's happened in several cases. Public cases of this have been known. So putting all of these important things behind not just one layer, but multiple layers so that the bad guys, whoever wants to do bad things to your system, they've got to go through all of these different network segments with different rules and different controls and special methods like multi-factor authentication and jump hosts and different protocols to actually get to those important things. That's the goal at the end of the day, so that you don't have, somebody out there on the internet being able to log into something from a coffee shop somewhere and then turn off the lights or cause a machine to go boom or other bad things to happen.
Excellent.
A good example of this in the real world is in the Middle East a few years ago, some malware got on machines, and within seconds to minutes, 30,000 machines were essentially erased, just what we call bricked. They were useless, dead. And now the reason that it didn't cause bigger problems, that's a big enough problem by itself, but the really important critical components for these, it's basically an oil system, all those critical oil industrial control systems were separated. They were segmented off. So that malware didn't get over there and didn't affect that part of the operation. And that's exactly why we want to segment those really important critical components away from everything else.
Okay, so I can understand how this is very, very important and actually how complex it can be. How do we figure out what's important? Like what needs to be segmented? Do I just get to make it up, or is there some guidance that I can get from somebody somewhere?
Yeah, right. There's several ways to do this. An asset inventory is always where you start, right? You need to know what you have. Knowing what from that list is important is the next step. And there are different models you can use, like business impact assessments, which is a special discipline and practice. It's fantastic. Or you can use existing frameworks. Like I think the common one that's coming out right now is NIST 882, IEC 62443, or even NERC-CIP. Or API 1164. And these are all acronyms and numbers and things, but those are basically ways to prioritize the important things and then look for ways to put them inside protected networks. So there's plans for this and there's frameworks for this that are out there.
That's great. That's great. How are we doing with this? I mean, different sectors must be in different places in this.
We're doing okay, and I think the concept of network segmentation isn't brand new, and some organizations may have started down this path already. But what I've seen in a lot of cases is there's some critical component somewhere, and it's like under Dave's desk or Alice's desk, and it was written by 3 engineers in a basement, and 2 of them are dead, and we just can't move it because it's so critical. So it stays where it is, and you end up with these things that just can't go down. So, and when you do network segmentation, you often you're separating networks. That can cause network outages, for example. Or the timing is, we can't do that until, that unit pair can get a scheduled outage because we can't get anything, we don't want to take an unscheduled outage because we lose money. So there's lots of different ways that it's slowing the process of network segmentation down. Take as many opportunities as you can to get as much network segmentation as you can get for these industrial control systems.
Yeah, I can see that. Wow. Okay.
There's always a chance to improve. Even things like remote access. Are you using things like a jump host versus just a direct team viewer session going straight in? That's a really good example on the OT side. But this is always something that as we get better and better, and we're using more digital technologies, we're restricting those firewall rules to allow only and explicitly what's needed, and only during the windows that it's needed. So there's always ways to make these segmentations tighter and better. I like to call it shrink wrapping. I mean, you really want to figure out only and exactly what I need in this space. And then you shrink wrap the network right around that important stuff. And then you create very specific rules about what can go in and out there. And then, you do the same thing for other areas so that every zone basically has its own set of specific rules, especially for the important stuff. Your workstations and everything else can have a different life. But we're talking about, the really important critical things that, again, can go boom or have loss of life issues.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick. Always enjoy talking to you. I'm sure our audience does too. You take care.
Thank you so much.